you are not lost. You are not confused. And you are certainly not in a position in your life where you don't know what to do. You're afraid. And I know that right now you're convincing yourself that you need more clarity, more information, or to figure out how to achieve the things that you want. But the reality is, you know exactly how to take a step towards what it is you want to achieve in life, but you're not doing it because you're afraid. What if it doesn't work out? What if you look stupid? What if people judge you? What if you quit on yourself yet again? I need you to understand that fear is no longer going to dictate the direction of your life, and it is time for you to step into the driver's seat and become a woman who has the courage to go after the things that she wants, even if she feels a little bit afraid. I spent so much of my life convincing myself that fear was a problem. But what I realized, fear isn't actually a problem. The problem is the relationship that I have with fear. And when I see fear as this big, scary, overwhelming thing that causes me to be paralyzed in my life and stops me from taking action steps forward, that is actually the problem. When I began to realize fear means one thing. What I am about to do is meaningful to me. Back when I first started my speaking career, I was so afraid to speak in front of audiences. Even an audience like this, where it's just a camera in front of me, I would break out in hives from the neck down because I was so afraid, worried about what people might think about me. What if I tripped over my words? What if I made a mistake? What if I said the wrong thing? What if I looked stupid? What if people were judging me? What if people didn't agree with what I had to say? What if I forget what I'm supposed to say? All of this fear felt like it was so overwhelming, and it stopped me for so long from sharing the things that I really wanted to with the world. But then I realized this fear just means that what I am getting ready to do matters to me. And isn't that a beautiful thing? Because don't we want our lives to be full of moments that matter to us? So I want you to let go of this idea that in order for you to be successful, you need to remove fear from your life. And instead, I want you to start working on the relationship that you have with fear and learning to allow it to be with you, be present with you, but decide fear can exist. And that is not a reason for me to stop taking action steps forward. In fact, I'm going to allow this fear to sit with me and drive me in the direction of what I want, because truly it is just indicating to me that what I am about to do is important to me. It matters to me and I care. And that is what life is all about, going after and pursuing the things that are meaningful to you. So today I want to talk to you about how you can learn to embrace fear in your life so that you can actually start taking the steps that you know you want to be taking towards the goals that you say are so meaningful and important to you. If the goals matter to you so much, don't you want to become a woman who is willing to sit with the feelings of fear so that you can create the reality that you want for yourself? So I'm going to share with you a 3-step process that's going to help you embrace fear so that you can actually achieve the things that you want in your life. The first step, very simple. You are going to name your fear. I want you to stop playing with yourself. It is time for you to stop lying and gaslighting yourself by telling yourself, I just don't know what to do. I'm just not really sure. I'm lost. I'm confused. I don't really know what it is that I want. Girl, yes, you do. You know exactly what it is that you want. You know exactly what it is that you want to achieve. And if you're honest with yourself, you know at least the first 3 steps that are right in front of you that you need to be taking in order to bring that goal and dream to fruition. But instead of just acknowledging the truth of being afraid and being scared because your ego is in the way, you just keep telling yourself that you don't know what to do, that you're lost, that you're confused, that you need more information, that you need to hire another coach, that you need to take another course, that you need to listen to another podcast or read another book. Sure, do those things. But the only way that you're actually going to create the life that you want for yourself is if you stop just learning and begin implementing the things that you already know. And I would be willing to bet if you're here listening to this podcast, you've listened to plenty of other podcasts about changing your life. It is time for you to start implementing the things that you know. And that begins with you acknowledging the truth. You're afraid, and that's okay. I need you to understand that you can be afraid of doing things and do them anyway. I've talked about it a million times here. You are an observer of your thoughts, not an obeyer. Just because your brain tells you you're scared does not mean that that has to say, oh, you're scared, you can't go and do it. What if you said, I'm scared and I'm going to do it anyway? Acknowledge the truth of your fears. Why are you afraid? What are you afraid of? And truthfully, if you sat with yourself for just 5 minutes and thought about the worst thing that would actually happen, I'd be willing to bet that you would find that even if worst case scenario happened, it wouldn't actually be that bad at all. So what if people you went to middle school with think you look stupid? So what if you fail? The most successful people in life are failing time and time and time again. Whatever the worst case scenario is, guess what, my love? You are still going to be okay. The second thing that you need to do is you need to decide what actually matters the most in your life. Do you care more about sitting in the feelings of fear and staying in a place where you are scared, where you are unsuccessful, where you are not taking action steps forward, and truthfully, you're living probably a very unfulfilling life? Because there's one thing I know. Achieving your goals is hard, but what's harder is living a life that feels so incredibly unfulfilling because we're living with all of these unmet dreams and goals and desires in our heart. Right now, you are allowing fear to be bigger than your desires. And I need you to flip the script. I need you to start thinking about how your desires can mean more to you, your goals and your dreams and the things that you want. How can those be more meaningful to you than the fear that you're feeling right now? The truth about fear is, I know it feels scary when you haven't done something before. Look, the first time that I spoke in front of a group of people, petrified, terrified. I just did a speaking engagement this past weekend, over 500 people in the building. I wasn't afraid like I was the first time because guess what I learned? I am still going to be okay. I can feel the fear, but on the other side, I am going to be all right. And the only way that you are going to get to see that you will also be okay is if you allow yourself to sit with the fear and do the things that you're afraid of and come out the other side. But that requires you to deepen your desire for what it is that you want and allow that to take up more space and more energy in your mind, in your heart, in your soul than the fear that you are currently sitting with. So I want you to ask yourself, do I care more about staying comfortable than I do about changing my life? Because if you have a big goal and a big dream, the reality is it is probably going to feel just a little bit terrifying. And that's a good thing. I want you to learn to embrace that. Stop running from fear. There are certain things that, yes, we certainly should be afraid of. If you're in the jungle and there's a lion running after you, bitch, run. But if you're getting ready to record a podcast episode for the first time and your biggest fear is, what if people don't like the sound of my voice? What if I say 10 times? These are not things to actually be afraid of, but our brains are so powerful and so tricky that they create these massive, massive stories. And if you are a spiraler like me, you know it is very, very easy to create a full-on 50-chapter book out of a one-sentence fear, where you have created all of these scenarios of terrible things that are going to happen. But I'd be willing to bet if you thought back to the last thing that you were afraid of and you did it anyway, none of those things ever even happened. And something that I always tell myself when it comes to fear is, Jessica, if you can spend all of this time imagining worst case scenario, can't you also spend an equal amount of time or more imagining best case scenario? Because guess what? Your fears coming to fruition, that's just one possibility. But what if your goals and your dreams and everything that you wanted in your life came to fruition and the things that you were so afraid of never even happened? And I can bet you 10 out of 10 times, okay, 9.5 out of 10 times, it is likely your fears will never even come to fruition. But even if they do, you have to learn that you are going to be okay regardless, because you will be. And the third thing that we need to learn to do is move in our lives with the fear. I encourage you, rather than making fear this big, scary thing, can you make peace with it? And can you actually invite it into your life and recognize fear is meaningful? As I talked about earlier in this video, fear is simply an indicator that what you are getting ready to do matters to you. And if you truly care about living a life that is full of moments and meaningful scenarios and situations and things that are actually meaningful to you, you can learn to embrace those feelings of fear and take them on and say, I actually want more fear to be present in my life, because that means that I'm doing something that is valuable. I'm doing something that is important. I'm doing something that I actually give a fuck about. And if there's one thing that I can tell you after living the large majority of my adult life, not going after and pursuing anything, literally just living day by day, autopilot, going through the motions, not chasing goals, not working on myself, to be a woman now who pursues big goals and dreams and puts myself out there and does the things that I say that I really want to do, my life is 100 times more fulfilling because I'm actually doing the things that I know I really want to do. It requires me at times to get deeply uncomfortable. But if you truly want to be successful, then you have to learn to be a woman who can also sit with the feelings of discomfort and know that this is a part of the process. Sometimes we get it twisted in our heads and we convince ourselves that the people who are so successful, the people we look up to, the people we admire, they just must never be afraid. That's absolute bullshit. Every single human being feels and experiences nervousness, worry, fear, anxieties. You're human. You don't get to escape those thoughts and those feelings. But the people who are successful, the people who are achieving the things that you say you really want in your life, those are the people who are embracing these feelings of fear, these feelings of worry, these feelings of anxiety. They have learned to be people who can sit with those feelings and move with them. You need to sit in the driver's seat of your life and allow fear to be there with you because it's meaningful, it's important, it's valuable, and it can actually serve you in your life if you can learn to sit with it in a meaningful way. But you first have to decide that your goals and your dreams are more important than being comfortable, that you value your success and the things that you crave and the life that you want to have more than you value your comfort. The big mindset shift that I want you to walk away from this video with is the fact that your confidence is built, it is not given. And so often when we start something for the very first time, we think, oh, if I'm afraid, then that means I'm not meant to do this thing. You're afraid because you're not yet confident. You're afraid because you don't yet fully believe in yourself. And the thing is, you're not just going to be handed those attributes. You have to work for them. You have to earn them. You have to build them by taking action steps first. I used to believe that confidence was either something that I was born with or I just was never going to have it. But then I learned confidence is actually something that I can build through time, repetition, and practice. You can become the most confident speaker, the most confident YouTuber, the most confident podcaster, the most confident author, the most confident content creator. You can become the most confident version of yourself, but it requires you to take action before you feel those feelings of confidence and understand that that will be built over time as you begin to trust yourself, as you begin to see it is safe for me to take action steps forward, even if fear is sitting with me, even if fear is present in my life. And when you learn to take those action steps anyway, that is when you are going to become the confident woman that you truly want to be. I want you to spend a couple of minutes thinking about something in your life that you have really wanted to do, but you haven't done it because you have been afraid. You have felt like, what if people judge me? What if I look stupid? What if it doesn't go the way that I want? What if I fail? What if I make a mistake? What if it just doesn't work out? Okay, but wouldn't you want to know that you tried? Wouldn't you rather want to know that you tried and you put your best foot forward and you actually gave it 100% effort? And then know, okay, it didn't work out. Then at least you can sleep peacefully at night knowing I tried, I gave it my all, I put myself out there. You are constantly going to live with the what ifs if you don't decide to take action steps forward. So I want you to think about, what is one thing that you have been really afraid to do? And can you commit to yourself today to taking one action step forward that will move you in the direction of achieving the thing that you want, even if you're a little bit afraid while doing it? Because remember, you're naming the fear, you're deciding that your desires are more important than the fear itself, and you are allowing yourself to be a woman who moves with the fear. Fear is invited along for the ride. It's not something that doesn't need to exist in order for you to be as successful as you truly want to be. I want to thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Queen of Pep Talks podcast. If this video resonated with you today, it would mean so much if you liked it and left a comment. Let me know a takeaway that you had. Let me know, what is the thing that you are getting ready to go and do in your life that you have been a little bit afraid to do. I want to cheer you on. I want to hype you up. I want to encourage you, because it takes a lot of courage to be a woman who decides this fear is going to be present with me, but I am going to take action steps forward anyway. And if you are choosing to do that today, I want to make sure I celebrate you. I love you guys so very much, and I will talk to you next week on a brand new episode of the Queen of Pep Talks podcast. See ya.